Don't allow what you see or what you're going through in the natural to affect your faith, you guys. God supersedes the natural, and he can make anything possible. And this reminds me of Ezekiel 37:114. Ezekiel is dropped down in a valley of dry bones, right? And God says to him, can these bones live? Ezekiel says, oh Lord, you know. Why that response? Because he was struggling in the natural. His eyes saw the valley of dry bones, but in the spirit, he heard a marching army, you guys. So in the natural sense, he saw dry bones, but in the spirit, y'all, he saw a marching army. So he's having to decipher whether is it dry bones or a marching army, right? So Ezekiel had to choose whether to agree with his eyes of what he observed in the natural realm or to agree with what he felt in his spirit. And a lot of times, you guys, God is dropping things down in your spirit, but you're ignoring it because you're allowing the natural, the things that your eye gates see, to supersede the power of God, you guys. So, but Ezekiel decided to choose his faith. He chose to agree with what his ears heard and began to prophesy. He began to prophesy. And as Ezekiel released the testimony in the courts, this allowed the bones to come together, flesh and wrapped around them, and the breath of God entered them, so they stood up on their feet as a mighty army. All of this was based on Ezekiel's wanting to choose to prophesy and not depend on what he saw in the natural realm. A lot of times, you guys, we are allowing what we have in our environments. We're allowing our setbacks. We're allowing these temporary things that are going on in our life to not put God's spirit on it, right? We're not having our faith in the circumstance, and which is why God can't move. The Bible says that without faith, it's hard to please God. So when you're in negative circumstances, you guys, God is asking you to choose faith, the spirit realm. This reminds me, you guys, if we keep our eyes on Christ, then anything is possible. It reminds me of Peter. As soon as he took his eyes off of Christ, he started to sink, right? And a lot of times we're not keeping our eyes on Christ. We're keeping our eyes on the circumstances. We're keeping our eyes on the difficulties. We're keeping our eyes on the trauma. And God can't move like that because you're too focused on the natural and not the supernatural. Keep your eyes on God. Have a blessed day.